I'd like to talk to you about the film you're about to see. It's called Our Changing City, and it's made by your Philadelphia city government. It deals with the problems of slum clearance, city planning, and housing, those things which affect the health and future growth of the city. You know, it's a pretty difficult thing to keep a city alive and growing as a civilized place in which you will want to bring up your family and in which you want to earn your living. William Penn planned it well 274 years ago initially, but since then it's grown just like Thompson. Ours is a fight for urban renewal, a fight we have not won, but a fight in which we're making fine strides. This picture is the history of that fight. I'm proud of it, and I hope you will be too.
Like most American cities, Philadelphia grew from the tangle of wilderness, beginning in friendship with the natives and fostered by William Penn, founder of Philadelphia, founder and first governor of Pennsylvania. It was he who commissioned Thomas Home to make the master plan for Philadelphia, and the map was born that formed the hub of our future metropolis. Like Penn's manor on the Delaware, he visioned Philadelphia a green country town.
Let every house be placed, if the person pleases, in ye middle of its plat, as to the breadth way of it, that so there may be ground on either side for gardens or orchards or fields, yet it may be a green country town which will never be burnt and will always be wholesome.
Today, we evaluate what William Penn meant, and will always be wholesome.
I know what he meant, for this is where I live and work. I'm a farmer. Believe it or not, but I am a farmer within the city limits. I have my gardens and orchards and fields, 60 acres of them. As far as I'm concerned, Philadelphia is still a green country town.
And I think I know what he meant, too. For this is my home, mine and my husband's. We don't have much land, just a little more than an acre, but it's all that we need. And it's a nice place for the children to play, at least until their father comes home from work.
There's a lot to boast about in Philadelphia when it comes to homes, and we can point with pride to all the good things which we have. But it isn't a boast filled with arrogance, rather with a simple pride. And Philadelphians do this rightfully, for they are proud of their homes and their city. Many are the people who rightfully claim that Philadelphia is a wholesome place in which to live.
Sure, it's wholesome. It's a wonderful place, just like they say in the movies. This is my neighborhood. We got everything. Lots of grass. We're loaded with trees. And it's a nice place for the cats to play in. What more could you ask? And when it comes to plumbing, brother, we got it. The kids especially like to play in our new fresh air-conditioned supermarket. That and the nice green fields where the cows feed. Yeah, life is just a bowl of cream. Wholesome city, green country town. Whatever happened to Penn's idea anyway?
That's a question that can be asked many times over. But the answer began with the first boatloads of settlers to Philadelphia. The city grew, and the lack of rapid transportation forced the people to live near their places of work and close to the market. As more people arrived, they crowded their houses more closely together, and the green country town idea was sadly neglected. Now, we don't need to build that way anymore. But today, the thousands of tiny crowded houses are still there. The static part of the city, the part that never changes except for the worse. These are the traps that drain our taxes and threaten to strangle the very existence of our town. Tens of thousands of such properties still exist, and more are being created than are being replaced or fixed up. The difficulty of replacing them lies in the problem of obtaining the necessary federal and state funds. In face of the fact that the city government has shown by survey that Philadelphia has thousands of homes or apartments with ancient heating systems, large numbers of others have no piped running water for bathing or drinking purposes, while thousands have no kitchen sinks or laundry facilities. Other tens of hundreds have no inside flush toilets. Others with no electricity. But the biggest cause of this blight in Philadelphia and other cities in the nation is overcrowding in the fringe around the central core. Dwellings designed for one family housing as many as 30 people under one small roof. What is the answer for the multitude of families who live in clearly bad housing conditions? Population is ever increasing, and with it the problem of blight increases. It begins many times with absentee landlords, public indifference, and the lack of overall city planning that will prevent such conditions in the future. What is the answer? There is no one answer. There is no one way. We must remember that old houses don't always mean blight, for some of the oldest housing in Philadelphia is among the finest. These are the products of citizen initiative. Those citizens who, without urging on the part of city government, have arrested decay and restored entire neighborhoods so that today they lend a grace and charm that can't be reproduced. Such citizens are far too few, and so public remedies are needed to cure the ills of city blight. The City Planning Commission has taken a look at the whole city and measured its economic resources in terms of residential, commercial, and industrial. There is a plan to use our open lands to prevent future slums, to wipe out the worst of present-day decay, replacing it with new growth, to conserve and rehabilitate the remainder of our neighborhoods. In the Northeast, open land has been carefully reserved for new industry and to care for the housing of a growing population. In the heart of the city, where blight is expanding, some renewal projects are completed, some are underway, and others are yet to come. In the South, the Redevelopment Authority is reclaiming great spreads of land for residential and commercial enterprises. For the rest of the city, every effort will be made to stimulate home maintenance and cleanup of entire neighborhoods by individuals and community associations. It is the part of the program that will stop the spread of blight in those areas which today are on the borderline between the good and the bad. But the total approach is effective only if the laws are strongly enforced. Laws like the Housing Code, the Health Code, air pollution control, plus the development of a comprehensive traffic and transportation plan to clear congestion. Only laws can pave the way to find the offenders who don't correct the conditions that cause decay and bottlenecks within our city, not only to buildings, but more important, to people. environment influences people, and our blighted sections are rich spawning grounds for juvenile and adult crime. For conditions resulting in unemployment, for the spread of disease that demands more public health centers. Tackling the problem in private meetings in City Hall, in open discussions on radio and TV, city officials and private citizens conclude urban renewal is the only answer. Urban renewal, the destruction and rebuilding of those parts of our city which have become decayed. That and total city planning is the logical solution. But how? It can begin in part by citizen action, by the prevention of blight, and by the maintenance of existing properties. The city is encouraging the banding together of whole communities to form improvement associations to work in their own neighborhoods. And citywide civic and business groups are prepared to help such neighborhood organizations. Some people are doing it, and its possibilities are available to any and all. In other cases, the prevention of blight by maintenance or rehabilitation is out of the question. And the only answer is the complete elimination of decay. Tearing out, ripping out, prying out, and like the removal of the sore and aching tooth, so today the blighted reaches of our city must be smashed and moved aside for better things to come. Down with decay and up with the new is no new theme in Philadelphia. It is as old as the city itself. But today, Philadelphia has a plan, a program, a purpose. A plan based on people's needs and wants, worked out with the people at community meetings and public hearings. A program to fulfill those needs based on hard facts and clear thinking. And the purpose? To create a bold new future and to make William Penn's dream of yesterday a reality in terms of today. Man and machine, both geared to the common purpose of pouring new life into the sprawling, tired body of our town. Yes, there's a new vigor abroad, new construction for new homes like these at Schuylkill Falls in Germantown. Built with the aid of federal funds by the Philadelphia Housing Authority, they represent a new concept of urban living in the heart of the city. And the same is true at Mill Creek in West Philadelphia, or Queen Lane in Germantown, a decent place to live and play. Wilson Park in South Philadelphia, a new vigor, new growth, and a new way of life on what was once nothing but wasted, barren ground. And the same new growth at the Raymond Rosen homes in North Central Philadelphia, or the Friends Self-Help Cooperative Housing Project, each project in its own way, providing homes for those who could not otherwise afford them. And there are new homes to serve the sick and troubled with a new Lankenau Hospital built with private funds. The city-owned Philadelphia General Hospital. The state-endowed Eastern Pennsylvania Psychiatric Institute. And the city keeps in step with its new recreation centers, like the Marian Anderson Center. Only one example of the city's huge overall program to serve the recreation needs of every neighborhood with modern and improved equipment. Likewise, water distribution facilities are but examples of the constant renewal process taking place in the city chain. Or the new international airport to serve the booming Delaware Valley, where Philadelphia's new industry promotes a better economic base for the city structure. More homes for the city of homes. But we must remember that our work has just begun, that we have barely scratched the surface of blight and decay. And while we try to bear on these problems the total resources of the city, more state and federal aid is still required if we are to successfully complete projects like Eastwick, which began with a silt from the bottom of the Schuylkill River and roared for 11 tortuous miles through pressured pipe. Until at last it filled the swamps and lowlands of Eastwick. Someday this silt will provide the foundations for a well-planned community of 10,000 homes, costing $85 million. Obviously, other projects must fall by the wayside for lack of funds. And yet today, the good of the past is carefully preserved and there's a new age coming. A new age reflected in projects such as the Schuylkill Expressway, or the dramatic transformation of Center City with the emergence of a magnificent Penn Center. Not merely replacing decay with buildings like the Spring Garden Apartments, but dissolving the roots of decay. It is building and rebuilding our history, our homes, our industry, our central shopping and business area. North, south, east, or west, Philadelphia has its shoulder to the wheel. Philadelphia is changing, but with a total, unified plan in mind. The job ahead is a big one. And the long, hard road is still before us.